There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes with the worship leader role, and I do not think it gets talked about enough. It's not the loneliness of having no one around you. Most worship leaders are surrounded by people. You have a team, you have a congregation, you have relationships with staff and volunteers and church members who value you and are glad you're there. It's the loneliness of carrying a weight that none of those people are quite positioned to carry with you. Your team looks to you. Your congregation receives from you. Your pastor is often your supervisor as much as your shepherd. And the people in your life outside of church often do not have enough context to understand what the role actually costs. So you end up in a strange position where you're relationally surrounded but pastorally alone, where everyone around you is either receiving something from you or a position above you. And the middle space, the place where someone just comes alongside you and asks how you're actually doing, that space is often empty. Research backs this up. Barna found that 65% of pastors now report feelings of loneliness and isolation. That number has grown significantly over the last decade. The structure of ministry creates it. You're always the one people bring things to. You're rarely the one people bring things toward. And I want to say something about that before I say anything practical. It's not weakness to need to be pastored. It's not a sign that you have not grown enough or that your relationship with God is insufficient. Every human being needs someone who is for them, someone who is paying attention to how they're doing, not because of what they produce, but because of who they are. Jesus had an inner circle. He withdrew with Peter and James and John to places the others didn't go. He was not above needing proximity and presence. The role can quietly train you to believe that you are supposed to be above needing that leaders lead and receivers receive, and that your job is the first one, that asking for care is a form of weakness that would undermine the trust people have placed in you. That's a lie, and it's one of the more damaging ones in ministry culture. The person who cannot receive care will eventually stop being able to give it. You cannot sustain indefinite output without input, and the specific kind of input you need, someone who knows you personally, who sees the gap between your public life and your private one, who has permission to ask the hard questions and actually wants to know the answer, that doesn't happen by accident. You have to pursue it. So here's a practical question. Who is pastoring you right now? Not who is in your life. Who is actually for you in the specific way that you are for the people you lead? Who knows what your interior life has been like this month? Who has permission to tell you something you don't want to hear? Who shows up for you the way you show up for others? If the answer is nobody, that's not a sustainable situation. It's also not a fixed one, but it requires intentionality. It requires you to decide that being known and being cared for is not optional, that the same investment you make in the spiritual health of your team is worth making in your own. That might mean finding a mentor. It might mean being more honest with a peer in ministry. It might mean getting a counselor or a spiritual director. It might mean building the kind of friendship where this kind of care is actually possible. Whatever it looks like, it has to be something, because the alternative, the worship leader who keeps giving and never receives, who keeps showing up without anyone showing up for them, that person does not stay in ministry for the long haul. Or if they do it at a cost that shows up somewhere eventually. You're worth being cared for, not because of what you produce, but because of who you are as a person. Let's pray. Lord, thank you that you do not only send us out, you also call us to come to you. You invite the weary and burdened to receive rest. Forgive us for the ways we have treated that invitation as something for the congregation and not for us. For the worship leader who is pastorally alone right now, would you bring someone into their life? Would you give them the courage to pursue the care they need? And in the meantime, would you be the one who is near? You see what it costs. You're not distant from it. Be near. In Jesus' name, amen.